It's called muffin top. Literally, the average basic standard muffin has 400 plus calories per muffin. One muffin plus one mocha will leave you starving and is 40% of your daily caloric intake as a savage endurance athlete. Yeah, it sounds like it sounds it sounds like Newsom must have had a muffin and a mocha and logged it and saw the difference in the calorie attribution there. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like the part about this that I want to key on is obviously the calorie total, right? Most people have no idea what they're actually eating calorically. Every time somebody joins DK, and this might be helpful for you, Corey, too, as you're just getting started, is guys like have a idea of what they're eating calorically, and then they actually log it for the first time in their lives accurately. And maybe it wasn't the first time, maybe it's the first time in a while, but it's either the first time in a while or first time ever they log it correctly, and they're usually mind blown by how much they're actually eating. If you guys saw the recording from, I think it was 2 weeks ago, there was a tweet, it might have been a week ago, there was a tweet that went pretty viral about a study on thermogenesis and people, self-reporting that they were eating 1,200 calories a day and not actually losing weight. And then when they actually did the study and tracked accurately, the study found that the people are actually eating 3,200 calories a day when they were self-reporting 1,200. Right? And so everybody was like, wow, I don't understand why I'm overweight. Like I'm only eating 1,200 calories a day. And then they actually got into a lab setting where they were forced to do it correctly and found out they were about, a third of what they were actually eating is what they were tracking. Right. So people usually have no idea. Now, the
Well,
other,
technically, they could have been eating 1,200. Sorry. I was
no, go
say
ahead.
technically they could have been eating 1,200, but drinking the other 2,000.
Yeah, that's true. That's
That could
also
easily happen.
that could easily happen. Yeah, that's totally true. Right. Especially like people don't realize.
I know I used to drink over half my calories.
Yeah, man. And people don't realize like how many calories are in alcohol too. So if people are drinking a lot of alcohol and they're not really paying attention to it, they get in trouble. Like it's not uncommon for people to think that hard liquor has no calories in it, or like light liquor has no calories in it. They think only dark liquor and like only beer has calories in it. But there's plenty of people that think like white claws, whatever they are, those damn seltzers, are calorie free, or like tequila and gin and vodka are calorie free. There's people that genuinely believe that, right? They don't understand that alcohol is actually a macronutrient. Now, does it get logged in your typical three of carbs, fats, and proteins? No, it's the fourth one. It's called ethyl, is actually its scientific name. Nobody ever really talks about it, but it's its own macronutrient. So anything that contains a percentage of alcohol also contains calories from that alcohol content. So there's no such thing as calorie-free alcohol. There's none. There's none. Right? That's why the 0 calorie beers, like the 0% beers, like those can have no calories in them. Yeah. Because there's no alcohol. Right? There's no alcohol. But if it actually contains alcohol, it's calorically dense, usually. It's usually pretty dense, right? And you can find yourself in a hole. So that's the other thing too. Because if you guys think about it, we can look it up right now. Everybody's familiar with Fireball. People hear Fireball and they're like, whiskey. I can go out with my friends and have a shot or two or three of Fireball. One shot of Fireball calories. This is like the most calorically dense whiskey you can find, to be fair. This is saying only 108 calories. Last time I saw it was 170, but this is only saying 108 in Fireball. I don't believe that. Last time I checked, it was way higher than that from what I remember. But still, even that little shot is 107 calories. And maybe you're not having it all at once going out to the bar, but if you're out at a cookout for 6, 7, 8 hours and you have a few shots over the course of the day, I mean, dude, you could easily find yourself at 500 calories from straight liquids that you wouldn't have otherwise tracked until you learned that even alcohol has calories in it. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I know that we kind of went off on a tangent there on this idea that Newsom put in. One other part of this that's important to understand, though, is the fact that not only are these things calorically dense, if you're thinking about like a muffin and a mocha, you also have to consider the fact that the hyper processed stuff usually is not that satiating. Right. So exactly what he's saying, one muffin and one mocha will leave you starving. Yeah, because it's hyper processed, it's calorie dense from the sugars, which don't have much volume in them at all, which is why it leaves you not satiated, which is why you still end up overeating. So this is why we are big on the protein first. So John and Drew, I know you guys know this, but for the sake of the guys watching the recordings and Corey, you being early in this process, protein is obviously huge for the fact that it helps you actually build muscle, which in turn means you burn more calories at rest over time. But the protein is also important because it's the most satiating macronutrient. So the muffin and the mocha, that's just straight carbs. That's it. Might be some fats in there. I actually don't even know really what's in a mocha. Is that milk based? Drew, do you know?
I'm not really sure, but yeah, I think it's I think it has some milk in there going on.
John, do you know? Do you like white girl lattes, John? I feel like John knows this answer for some reason. I feel like John knows the mocha macro.
I don't.
What's the question?
What a mocha actually consists of in terms of
Yeah,
the
so it's espresso, whipped cream, chocolate syrup, and
oh
steamed
wow.
milk.
Well, it depends because sometimes it's chocolate syrup, but you could also probably do it with like the regular Monin syrups and stuff too. A lot of times it's a lot more dense though. It's like a homemade proper syrup.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
if you want, as Joey calls them, the white girl latte, you can take just a cup of coffee and put chocolate collagen powder in it, protein, and it like turns it into like a mocha with like a splash of milk. It's pretty good.
Is it good?
It's very good. Yeah.
So like if you guys aren't familiar with my white girl latte, Corey might not be. I don't know, Matt, you might be. I feel like Michael and John and Drew know this. My secret indulgence that I have maybe once a week is a nice little white girl latte. I walk down to the coffee shop right by our house and can I have the Tudo latte full sugar, please? And have one of those. My white girl latte. It's great. But I will say, if you get a sugar-free latte, it's actually not that bad because it's just straight milk. It is just milk and espresso.
Yep.
So if we're being honest, a latte is like your best coffee option if you get sugar-free. So everybody can come at me for my sugar-free or my white girl lattes, but my white girl lattes are pretty macro-friendly if I do say so myself, if I get sugar-free, right? Now, that being said, back to the point of one muffin and one mocha and like the actual satiation of just straight carbs and fats. It's just not as satiating as if you had protein in there, right? So if you actually had a latte where there was a little bit of milk and some protein in there, you might experience a little difference, but it's not enough protein to make a difference. It's still like 6 grams of protein with that much milk. But that's why we prioritize the protein, right? So for some of the newer guys, it's because of the satiation factor, not just the muscle building factor, right? That's a huge part of it, yes, but it's also because we don't want you to overeat on the back end, right? We want you to be able to keep the calorie count in control, right? And a lot of that comes from, hey, focus on the protein first, get it in, you're going to feel full, and then you can backfill with things that are voluminous, meaning they take up a lot of space in your stomach. So literally think about that image in your head when you're eating something. Does this take up a lot of space in my stomach? Right? Because that's actually how you're going to get your volume answer. So fruits, veggies, etc. These are things that take up a lot of volume in your stomach for not a lot of calories. Right? So the protein first, volume is food second, and then even still after that, if you want to, slip in your very sugary stuff or things like that, and you have the calories to do it, sure, be my guest, right? But you don't want to set yourself up for failure by doing that out of order. Because if you flip that order, you're going to be, as my Midwest grandmother says, up shit creek without a paddle. Okay. So that's my tangent.